So I have attempted to film these videos for approximately 6 hours now, and I have run into so many obstacles that I just can't overcome when it comes to filming the packet physically and physically flipping through it just like you would, being able to mark things and point at things specifically and in a very real way that's very similar to me teaching it in a classroom or talking about it in a classroom. I have tried new software, I have filmed in different locations, different times of the day, and it's just not working. And I haven't been able to so far film a very long video that would work in terms of editing, exporting, importing, uploading, and everything like that. I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of know-how as to how I can fix those issues. It's just that on short notice, very quickly, I cannot fix those issues right now. So I'm going to go ahead and use the screen recorder that I know how to use, I know how to edit with. This is kind of where we're stuck. So can't show you physically flipping through the packet. I can show you a very clear screen capture of your packet. This is the actual digital version of the packet. It is exactly the same to your physical copy. This is the PDF that I've been sending to you guys through LiveGrades. It's been sent twice as a mass message, and then sometimes individually if students struggle to find it or to open it, or if students were newly enrolled. So at the very top there, it says Emergency Remote Packet, Miss Brooks, English 9. You will only complete work for an emergency remote packet when school is closed. A normal remote Wednesday does not count as an emergency remote day. It's just a routine day. So right now, even on your Wednesdays right now, this past Wednesday and this upcoming Wednesday, you are still within an emergency closure, okay? So you would use your emergency remote packet, and by the end of this closure, you're going to have 6 days of this packet completed. So looking at the top there, follow this guide to ensure completion of all work. I'm looking at this right here, okay? So it's all very tightly packed together. So you just have to make sure that you are paying very close attention to what you are reading, what it is asking you to do, when it is asking you to do something versus when it is asking you to simply read over a work. Then you've got begin day 1, so we know we're on day 1. We won't start day 2 until we see another entry that looks just like this, except with the 2. Then we've got boxes full of standards. They're found sprinkled throughout this packet occasionally. These standards are not all that important to you as a student simply attempting to complete work, okay? These standards are important for my information, for administrator information, for parent information, and for your information if you are concerned with or wondering why we are completing the work we are completing, why we are attempting the tasks we are attempting. You can look into these standards more closely, more in depth, with detail, connections, alignment, through the West Virginia Department of Education website and through their West Virginia Learning Tree. I can send out a copy of those standards, my checklist of those standards that we were provided by the county. I keep forgetting to do so, but I'll attempt to do so soon. If somebody would like to have that, I'll definitely do that more quickly. But really, it's to keep your teachers on track. Okay, it's a track for teachers and a checkpoint for administrators. So this lets my administrators know where we are with a lesson, where we are in your standards, how many standards are we covering, how fast are we covering them, what are they connected, do they make sense, are they relevant? It's all about that. It's keeping me on track to get you from ELA 8 to ELA 10. So it helps guide me and helps me choose what we cover and when we cover it. Overall, you can ignore these boxes if you want to. They have nothing to do with your instructions to complete your work. And then we've got this part right here on a separate sheet of paper. That's a clear indicator that you're about to do some work that you're going to need notebook paper for, very likely. For this one, you definitely need notebook paper. You definitely need a lot of space to write this. So I'm going to scroll down, and in your directions, it tells you that the following paragraph consists of simple sentences constructed in the basic subject-verb pattern. On your own paper, revise the paragraph and vary sentence structure and sentence beginnings to make the writing smoother and livelier. You've been taught throughout middle school to avoid beginning all of your sentences the same way. These sentences down here, if you'll look, they all begin with a pronoun. My, I, we, we, my. They all begin pretty much that way, okay? You have examples in this box right here of what's not varied and what is varied. So not varied would sound like, I ate cheese and crackers, period. I enjoyed them very much, period. I finished the cheese and crackers, period. I went for a walk, period. That's very choppy. It's not very smooth. It's not academic. It's not standard. So what we want to move you into is writing in an academic standard format that makes sense, that follows logically, and that looks really good for you as a writer. Varied would sound like, I ate cheese and crackers, which I enjoyed very much. Once I finished eating, I went for a walk. Or I enjoyed eating cheese and crackers. After I finished eating, I went for a walk. So these right here indicate time, the logical, chronological steps in which things happen. This sentence does not begin the same way this sentence does. This sentence does not begin the same way this sentence does. Okay? Right here, we've got an independent clause happening, a very simple sentence, and followed by a subordinate clause right thereafter. Right here, we have a subordinate clause beginning the sentence and then ending with an independent clause, ending with a simple sentence, essentially. So independent, subordinate, and then we've got subordinate, independent. You don't have to follow that pattern. There's 1,000 ways to, infinite ways to restructure this paragraph down here in your own way. And it could look like this. It could be just a simple sentence to start off with, but then you've got a complex sentence after, a subordinate clause and then an independent clause. Okay? So it doesn't have to be a perfect pattern of simple to compound, then compound, complex. You don't have to do that. It could be simple, complex, complex, compound, simple, compound, complex. Just as long as you're reaching all four and your sentences aren't beginning the exact same way every time, and that it's not simply just simple and compound sentences, okay? That's what we're trying to avoid. We're just trying to make it varied, a little bit complex even, make it look more academic, make it look like you're flourishing as a writer, like you're getting really good at concisely. Concise means saying the most in the fewest words possible. That you're writing in a concise, clear, concise, logical fashion, and that's where you need to be to succeed in ELA 10. So I'm going to cut that video off there because that's a pretty long introduction into this packet. Day 2 is going to come a little bit later. Day 1 is going to take a couple of videos to get through, but this video is already 10 minutes. That's quite a lot of content. So the next video will jump right into this assignment and the rest of day 1. And then we'll go into day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6 even, too. So I'm going to cut it off right there.